Man, a great day. The day's not done yet either, I should say that, but really excited anytime you add your future pieces to your family. Great players, you can see that on tape, but I think the thing that maybe I'm most excited about is what they're going to bring and continue to add to our culture and the foundation of what we're doing as a football program. Smart, competitive, and have great leadership skills too, and excited about the 16 guys. I think almost half the class comes from programs that won 10 games this past season. We got 7 of them that will be mid-year enrollees as well, so they'll be able to get integrated right into our program right away in January, and obviously that's a huge benefit to those guys being able to go out and help us the following fall as well. So excited about the future and really proud of the work that our coaches put in. This is a 365-day out of the year process that ends for these kids today. Really proud of the work that our players put into it too. We get them here on campus, but ultimately the time that they get a chance to spend with our players is critical in those guys making the decision that they did. So with that, I'll open it up to some questions.
You looked ahead, saw a need for defensive backs. Talk about the haul you brought in.
Yeah, I think, when we first got here as a staff, philosophically a little bit different in the way that we wanted to play on the defensive line and the number of bodies that we had. So our first 2 classes were probably a little bit heavier there. That takes away some of the numbers. Haven't signed big classes at the DB position. It was a need for us going into this recruiting cycle. We knew that. The players that we got are big-time players, man, and come from really good programs, competitive, they're long, they got great speed. I think these guys got a chance to come in here, push, and have an opportunity to play early, and we certainly need that from them.
Coach, can you talk about just the evolution of the early signing period? This has become the biggest day, more than the February day.
Yeah.
And also, how much recruiting left do you have to do for February?
Right. My first year here was the first year of the early signing period, and at that time there was still a good amount that waited. More and more kids are signing earlier in the process. I think it's good for them in the respect that they get a chance to have the process over, right? They get a chance to just go back and enjoy their senior year. We still have some work to do here in January. We're never going to be able to sign a full class this year just because of the numbers that we took a year ago and where we're at inside of our program. But we have a couple spots left that we have to go and fill here in January.
Coach, you talked about DBs a moment ago. You won a couple of battles, I guess, this morning with Justin Hodges and Devante Brown. Can you kind of talk about those 2 guys and what they bring?
Yeah, great speed, great length, ability to play man press coverage, can play multiple spots, could move inside and play nickel, can play out on the outside and cover outside wide receivers. A couple of guys that are from down south, that had offers from another university down there too. Devante being a legacy there. Him wanting to come up or getting around our players and our staff during the recruiting process, trusting what this brand and this university is going to empower him to do. The 4 years that he's playing here, the opportunity to play after that, hopefully for him, but also just long-term, living inside this state and the power of the degree from this university, the network that's created, and how that's going to empower him the rest of his life.
Josh, you're able to kind of bolster your offensive line as well. You got a kid from Germany, 6'10".
Fertile recruiting ground for us over there.
I was going to say, how do you recruit a guy from Germany? What kind of went down in that process with him?
Started a while back. Had an opportunity to watch just some movement skills of him. Hadn't seen him in person. We're able to get him in on an official visit here late. Obviously, he's as big as he's listed, right? You never know that until you see him. Had great movement skills, right? And still raw in his understanding of this game. In some ways, the technique. I think he's got a really high ceiling. He's long. He's 6'9.5", 6'10". He's 300 pounds. He's going to be massive by the time he's done. Long reach. Can absolutely bend. You know what I mean? And really an athletic kid for that size with great functional movement. And he'll be here in January. He's ready to get started. It was unique just in the recruiting process. He comes over with his mom. We basically, one of our recruiting staff members, his wife, took German in high school, right? And so she became the translator over the course of the weekend. She had put a lot of work in, but it was a unique recruitment.
Talk more about your tight end recruits, and did Gabe help a little bit in that recruiting process? With
That made recruiting Jordan a little bit easier, absolutely. He had great insight. He's been over here so much, just coming over to practices and being around our kids, seeing them work out in the weight room. He knows them personally, right? Understands the culture and the expectations. He's got huge shoes coming in here. Everybody's talked about the work ethic that Gabe's had. He's got to come in here and have that same type of work ethic. But excited to get him and look forward to having him ready to go compete in January.
Josh, in the back here, how do you measure, it's difficult right now, but how do you measure whether or not this was a successful class for you right now?
You measure it as they get on the field and go play and the win total, right? At the end of the day, your recruiting rankings should be dictated by how they finish and how they compete and the number of wins you have on the field. I think this is a tremendous group of kids. They've won a bunch. They're accustomed to winning. They understand winning habits. They're athletically gifted. But their ability to come in and continue to add to the culture, leadership, toughness, competitiveness, being consistent day in and day out. We're looking for tough kids that want to compete and do it consistently, and I'm really proud of the group that we've put together here.
Josh, you're able to get a big 6'4" wideout and Giuseppe stretch cradle. What kind of upside do you think he has?
Man, high ceiling, man. A kid that was a dominant basketball player. His basketball team wins the state championship a year ago and has a chance to make a really deep run this season. Got a chance to watch him a couple weeks ago, go compete on the basketball floor, not basketball game, but practice, and has the ability to play way above the rim, and is a really physical player out on the basketball court as well. And I think that speaks to his toughness, his competitiveness. He's going to come in and have an opportunity to compete early. I think he's a kid that's in a program that had a great season and excited about what he brings.
What will we see kind of change on the field as you get more of the guys that you recruited and specifically picked for your football team?
I think subtly, everything that you do defensively is always, predicated by your personnel. Offensively as well, I think the depth inside of your program changes the way you're able to play on special teams and the number of guys that they're able to play. As we get more DBs in here, you may see us in more dime packages, right? It's all predicated off of that. 2 years ago with Cougs here, right? We played him in the box and spread out a bunch and had that flexibility. I think the young guys that we recruited in this class bring that type of flexibility as well.
Coach, the running back you signed, Johnny Richardson, what do you like about him?
True, man. He's going to be a strong, I'm going to use the word pit bull, man. By the time he's done here, he's strong. He's going to blow up. Just when he gets in the weight room and trains consistently, he's got tremendous vision, great balance. He's physical at the end of his runs, got good long speed. A kid that, at one time was leading the nation in rushing during the course of this season. He's going to be a really special player.
Josh, how much of this class is filling needs for the next couple of years, and how much of it is just maybe trying to get some of the talented players here?
Well, I think, you look at the numbers. When the numbers are high at a position, right, it's because you have a void and you're trying to fill a need. And then the rest of it, if it's balanced, you're probably just continue to add the right pieces to consistently improve and build your roster as you get deeper into your program. So the DBs absolutely needed a big class. Really proud of what we got.
Coach,
Sorry.
when you're talking about depth and trying to build and take UCF back up to that upper echelon of college football, how do you go about recruiting when you're going against the schools that aren't even in the AAC, that you're trying to take it up another notch?
I'm sorry, let's say that one more time.
How do you go about getting the kids on campus that you need to compete with guys outside the ACC?
I think consistency in your program where you're winning every single year. We got an opportunity to go win 10, go win the bowl game, win 10, right? I think that puts you in unique company. I think we're one of 6 teams in America that has a chance to win 35 games over the past 3 seasons. You look at the brands of those other teams, you are an elite company, right? And certainly we got elite talent here. Feel like we're going to have a tremendous season next year if we continue to build on the blocks that it takes to go win consistently week in and week out. As our facilities continue to improve, right? That's a resource that kids see and can feel it, right, when they come on campus. Is you put all those things together, that's how you go win in-state battles and get players that have those types of offers.
Coach, two-part question. What would you say to those who judge recruiting classes on the rankings, first of all? That was the first part of the question.
Yeah, okay. Rankings are rankings, right? They're like preseason rankings to me, right? They don't mean a whole lot at the end of the day, right? Some of it's based on the total number of guys that you have, right? And I'll tell you this, like, our coaches put a ton of time into watching the tape, and the athletic talent is the first part that you see, right? At the end of the day, who you're bringing in is as important as the tape, right? The culture, the toughness, the competitiveness, those intrinsic traits that you have to have inside of your football team to go chase championships. Our coaches did a tremendous job, in my opinion, of going out and making sure that we're getting the right fit, not just the talent, but the right fit that's going to allow us to go chase championships year in and year out.
The other thing, do you agree with this sort of the narrative that signing day isn't as important with the proliferation of transfers in the transfer portal?
I think signing day is absolutely critical to the fundamental of who and what you are as a football program. Absolutely. I think the transfer portal has changed it. It's like free agency. You have the opportunity to add certain pieces that are probably need-based inside of your program as you go through the rest of the year before you kick off next fall.
Josh, in the back here, was it easier for you this time around, that you're a little more established here at UCF, and were the kids more aware of you specifically?
Absolutely. I think the further you're into your tenure, kids have more, they've been exposed to you more times that they've been on campus, right? There's more consistency and understanding of who and what you're going to be on the football field in all three phases of the game, and that absolutely played a pivotal part in getting some of these kids.
Last one.
Josh, were you able to, you think you're able to save some scholarships maybe to use that transfer portal as you were talking about, if you have a need maybe to fill in the next couple months?
Yeah, we were never going to get to a full 25 signing class. We couldn't because of what we've done and where our roster is at, which is that's a positive thing, right? But we do have a couple scholarships left for January and potentially for transfers.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, guys.